you like the Palo Santo?
Welcome back to Chérie, It's a Process. I'm M.
And I'm A. How have you been?
We're back. I'm excited. I'm so excited. We're back and we're wishing everyone a happy new year. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas time. I know we did, or I did. And I'm glad we're back and we're back at it. I missed this, you know.
No, I did too, actually.
How was your start to the new year?
Yeah, it was really good. Really cozy and chill, and it suddenly got really cold, and it's actually snowed now for the last couple of days. And
crazy. I've seen the videos.
Yeah, I mean, for Paris, it's an insane amount of snow. There's no no buses are running, nothing.
Really? Is it like shut down?
Yeah. I mean, I think their schools are open, but and I think metro and stuff is going. I haven't checked, but all kind of road traffic, they're trying to minimize it like crazy because there's lots of ice and people are slipping. And
it's wild.
But yeah, I went for a walk earlier, and it was actually really nice and thick, like the thick, crunchy, good snow.
Yeah, it's like
makes
proper
the
snow.
Sound. It's like, and like lots of old people with their little sticks like wobbling around. It was very sweet, but half the time you're worried they're going to slip as well, and I think they're terrified they're going to slip too. And I was also, because there are areas, like, at the same time it's very slippy.
Yeah.
But it's been really nice seeing
That's so cool. I think it's more snow than I have seen in Vienna for many, 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 many years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought...
We have not had this amount of snow in a long time. The thing is, when it snows here, it gets slushy and brown, like, immediately. But you have white snow.
Yeah.
Like, it's proper.
I mean, normally in Paris, it's also kind of slushy and it leaves within a day.
Yeah.
And I think... Don't quote me on this, but I think it started snowing on Monday or Sunday night.
Yeah, I think it's been a few days.
So it's been a couple of days that it's like built up, and then obviously parts of it melt again, but it's been kind of cold enough that there's like there's this base layer. And then this morning, my boyfriend woke up and he was like, yeah, it snowed again and there's quite a bit of it. And I was like, oh God. And I looked out the window and like, yeah.
It's such a lovely start.
Yeah, it's been sunny as well at the same time, so it's not only been like grey and meh and rainy.
Yeah.
So
very magical.
Yeah. We'll definitely put some pictures online on our Instagram account, Chérie, It's a Process. Hopefully you guys are all following.
For sure. I hope so too. You should. If you're not, you should. All right, should we start with the pocket magic?
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Pocket magic.
Today's pocket magic is actually a little something I got from my sister, because during Christmas she made everyone a hot chocolate and I really enjoyed it. And then I remembered when I came back home to Paris that I had some chocolate powder in the cupboard, and I started making hot chocolates for me and my boyfriend, and ever since then we've just been having hot chocolates every day, and I feel it's really fitting for the cold weather. It's kind of a little warm pick-me-up, and I've really enjoyed it. And I've also actually started adding a little bit of chili into his. He loves spicy stuff.
Yes.
So that chili chocolate, hot chocolate combo works really well and it's really nice. And then also
do you have like tea bags of chai, or is it like actual like powder?
And I've been adding a little bit
and you
of
just
like
add it to
chai
the hot chocolate.
tea powder into my hot chocolates.
Nice.
Giving that a little bit. No, it's an actual powder. Yeah. So I got mine from Compagnie de la Française, but that is, I'm still kind of testing it out. Non-sponsored, nothing over here. But I feel like now I'm trying to sell chai instead of hot chocolate. But no, I have this chai powder, so it's similar to
That's
like
cool.
the chili flakes. I just add a little bit, and then for me it's like having a kind of, dirty chai, but instead of adding coffee, I have a hot chocolate with it because I'm trying not to drink coffee. So having that kind of rich chocolate flavor with a bit of a kick is really nice as well. right now for the cold weather.
So today's
I'm
topic
really
is
enjoying
attachment theory. This is something that you brought to my attention
recommend.
a couple years ago, I think now. And ever since we've talked about it quite often, and quite excited to learn more today, because I still, like, even if we've talked a lot about it, I still don't know a lot about it, and I get confused. And we actually took the tests and everything, so I actually know. I think I remember. I actually don't know. We'll see. We'll get there. But I'll let you get into it more because you're the one who brought it and you definitely know more than I do. So why don't you start us off?
Okay, firstly, I'm no expert. I haven't studied the topic in depth. I just know a lot about it because it's been a lot of topics in my therapy and understanding myself, understanding my partner. And I think also I see it now in a lot of other people as well. And that's also when I'm close to them, for example, like you. But I saw a pattern with one of your exes that made me aware. I was like, oh, hold on a minute. He might have some attachment issues.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing to have them. I think it's just important to be aware of them, and once you're aware of them, it's so much easier to know how to deal with life and yourself and your partner. And I think that's ever since then we've been talking about it. And then sometimes even
where does
your
it
mum
come
brings
from?
stuff up, and you're like, oh wait, I've heard of this before. So I think it's always good to know. But I'm no profesh. So I think we're gonna start off with the history. So it was first developed in England in the 1950s by the psychologist John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth. I think if you study psychology, Bowlby will be a very big name. Anyway, with attachment theory, it comes up all the time. He comes up all the time. Side note. The theory proposes that getting closer to someone, or as the technical term has it, attached, will always generate a degree of fear and risk. I think we all know that. It's always scary getting to know people. One's attachment style gets developed in the first years of life, which I think is really interesting because that's something that we don't think about, and that really kind of was an eye-opener for me. Back in the 50s, they only measured it by relationship to a child and mother, which has been met with criticisms. Okay, yeah, because the mother isn't only the primary caregiver. Because obviously, I mean, I just kind of said it in a very unofficial, I don't know if you get it, but the child obviously doesn't only attach to the mother, but also attaches itself to many other people. But I think here, the best kind of modern way of talking about it,
so not just the mother, but
that
whatever
kind of
primary person
the norm,
there is.
But I think by now it's kind of the primary caregiver that takes that role. No, it's... Yeah, and I think it can also be people as long as it's a secure, tight-knit group. Again, this is the part where I'm like, I haven't really studied it. Please don't quote me on it. I'm trying my best to explain it. We'll also have an Instagram post with the information on it. I'm going to try and continue explaining this a bit. So your individual attachment style depends on a strong emotional and physical bond having been formed with the primary caregiver, whoever that may be. Again, doesn't have to be the mother. If the child feels safe to explore the world and knows that there is always a safe base to return to, it will likely become securely attached. So it's about having that safe foundation, the safe, secure attachment. However, if the bond is weak, meaning insecurely attached, the world out there is scary, and we are afraid to explore it. We might also have no sense of being able to return to the home base, leaving us feeling anxious or afraid. And this is put very simply. It can be very, you might say, well, that's bizarre. Of course I'm not scared to return home. But it's just about that inner security, that inner kind of, I think for me personally, it's feeling the inner kind of secureness. It doesn't mean, okay, you know,
Well, no, you can't
I'm,
change
disclaimer,
it's possible to change it, though.
I used to be anxiously attached, and I think I still am. I just have worked a lot on myself, and I've helped kind of the inner child and the you know, I'm still not perfect, and I'm still working on it, but you know, and it was never like, oh, I don't feel scared to go, you know, from boarding school I was like, oh, I don't feel scared to go home, I love, you know, I want to go home, but
or
it's
that you
that
didn't
kind of
have
inner peace and security and safeness that I had feeling inside. That's how it kind of came up for me. Exactly, that I didn't have. Okay, so as you might have figured, there's one type of secure attachment and there's 3 types of insecure attachment.
Disorganized has 2 names
which
for
are
it. Yeah.
Anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, and disorganized attachment, also called fearful
And
avoidant.
you were saying you were anxiously attached.
Yeah, so there's disorganized, which
Okay.
is also known
Well,
as fearful
should we
avoidant.
go into what they all mean? So you already mentioned it, but securely attached is probably the healthiest form. It's when you felt like you've had a home base, you feel very trusting, you feel like you can forgive, you have a you have a confidence, you're responsive, you're not really reactive, and you have a good set of boundaries, and you know, able to connect with others, and it's not really the scariest thing in the world to connect with others, and it's just kind of like it just works. And in other words, you're most likely able to like live a healthy relationship and you can communicate your needs quite well. Then there are the 3 insecure styles. So I'm going to start us off with the anxiously attached. And then you can also say some words about it, Anais. But anxiously attached is it manifests as a constant fear of abandonment. And it leaves a person seeking closeness and a lot of reassurance.
Yeah. Yeah, so words that kind of identify with the anxious attachment style.
I do just want to say that if you, as a listener, are identifying with any of these, it's not a bad thing. You're not broken. You're not like, you're okay. And it might even be good that you are identifying with them, because then you can actually work through them, which is possible, which we'll get into a bit later as well. We just wanted to kind of talk about what they are, and then we can talk about what happens when you have them and how you can work through them. So then there's avoidantly attached, which manifests as one pulling away emotionally and or physically and needing their own space. This can often lead to friction in a partnership, as the avoidant partner desires a deeper connection, but at the same time fears that intimacy and is trying to pull away from it.
Yeah, I'll go into that in a minute. There's a kind of fun little it's not fun, really. Sorry, we can cut this. Yeah, so some of the words that kind of associate with the avoidant style is fear of closeness, avoid conflict, are distant, prone to logical thinking, and can be unresponsive to a partner. Now, this gets really fun when you're in a partnership that is anxiously attached. So anxiously attached and avoidant attached. So one partner is anxious, the other one is avoidant. And then there's this push and pull. I mean, me and my boyfriend at the beginning of a relationship, we were very much, there's the push and pull. He was avoidant. He needed his cave. He needed his time, his kind of time to process, and I needed, when we had a fight, I became clingy, I became kind of, the boundaries got
they
blurred,
really like
the
each other.
insecurities came back, I needed to talk
They're
it out,
really
and he
attracted
just
to each
couldn't. So
other.
there's this push and pull,
definitely know
and a
that
lot of
issue as
partnerships
well.
are
From past
avoidant and
experience.
anxious. The push and pull is, yeah. So that's, but knowing, I think, we'll probably go into it later as well, but knowing your attachment style, or for me at least, knowing that my attachment style and knowing his attachment style has really helped me kind of soothe myself and tell myself, okay, this is what he needs right now, and we're gonna talk it out later.
Yeah. Well, it's a I think what it's been really helpful for, it's been a guideline to navigating
space, and he has the time
relationships, and that's not just the conflicts, but also just in general navigating and understanding yourself and another person better, and that helping, grow together.
Yeah.
But both need to be open to that, I think. I think that's really important as well. Okay, well, the last one is disorganized, or as we were talking about earlier, also known as fearful avoidant. And it manifests as being unable to self-regulate, having difficulties with trust and intimacy, disassociating frequently, being unpredictable, and having intense internal conflict. And it's probably the one that's like the most, not, I won't say messed up, but the most tricky, and the one that probably carries a lot more trauma than the others, let's say it that way. I don't know. Is that how can you say that?
To navigate, definitely. Yeah. I think, in other words, one has a strong desire for closeness, but also a deep-seated fear of it, leading to an inconsistent, contradictory behavior in relationships.
Yeah.
So you have that kind of I know the least about this one, so I don't want to give too much information that might be wrong. But definitely, if you do identify with this and you're like, well, maybe, firstly, there's a quiz that will tell you your attachment style. Yeah, and secondly, there's also there's so much research out there. If you do identify with this and you're like, oh, I might, or this interest, you want to read up on it, there's so much more information out there. We're also going to put links in the show notes so you can kind of get where we read all of this up. You can also read it up. But yeah, it's that kind of contradictory push and pull that you have in yourself, that you want closeness, desire. And there's also some really great videos out there that really kind of, and we'll link them as well, that show how these attachment styles came into, or generally can come into your life, and how it functions and how it works. I think quickly, yeah, definitely. But yeah, depending on the kind of those primary caregivers, how around they were, how present they were in the first, it's from the first day of life to up to I'd say the first 3 years of life. It's so important to have that secure primary caregiver that is present, that is involved in your life, and that you then feel happy and secure. And for me, that realization that my kind of relationship issues and how I see the world and how I attach to someone stems from when I was, year old, 6 months old, 2 years old. That kind of understanding, that was like, oh wow, that, I just couldn't even make that connection for so many years. I had so many, my teenage years, my early 20s, I made so many kind of regrettable mistakes because I was just had that deep search for connection, and I just couldn't connect, and I got too clingy, and it just wasn't an understanding that really kind of,
well, yeah, I think therapy really helped you with that, didn't it?
Okay,
you didn't just do it, obviously you did all of it on your own, but I think therapy really helped you kind of see the big picture and see it clearly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I think there's also so many resources out there now, podcasts and attachment theory. When I started having therapy 8 years ago, I feel like, maybe there was, I just probably wasn't looking for it. But I think with Instagram and social media, there's so many people that talk about attachment style now, and that do reels about it, do podcasts about it. There's so
So,
much more.
I mean, you were
out
talking
there
earlier
that
about,
for me,
well, we
therapy
were
really
talking
worked
about the
and
3
helped me
attachment
give me
styles that there are.
information and
Or
listen to
4
it.
technically with
I think
secure.
there's also
But
so much other
as far as I
information right
remember,
now as
you're
well.
not just one, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, from my personal experience, I think so. I think it's important to keep in mind that the attachment styles are more to be seen as kind of a spectrum. One of the styles, I think it's important to keep in mind that the attachment styles are to be seen more as a spectrum, and it is very likely to have to have a combination of different styles. One might be more prominent, but it doesn't mean you won't have aspects of the other. I'm going to go more into this because I'm not sure I was very clear. But I think, as I've said many times before, I'm anxiously attached. But that doesn't mean that I don't have tendencies of avoidance. And also, I think now that I've worked on myself so much, and this is also funny because we took the quiz and suddenly I was securely attached, and I was like, huh? So I think it's not only what in my own experience, I've experienced that definitely I used to have lots and lots of anxiously attached tendencies, and then I also have picked up some avoidant attached tendencies, probably from my boyfriend, and I wouldn't say I've enjoyed them, but I've kind of worked through them and felt them as well. And sometimes I'm like, oh, actually, I prefer now dealing with it in this way, in this bit more avoidant way. But then also I think having the knowledge and having experienced it for so long now and worked through it in the last 3 years of my relationship, I think maybe when I did take the quiz, okay, maybe I wouldn't say I'm healed and I'm now securely attached, but I'm also, the rational brain kind of kicks in and can soothe the inner child and be like, okay, I don't need to be clingy and cry and go. I can kind of wake up that logical and be like, okay, I'm going to give you your space right now. I'm going to do me. And then this afternoon, let's sit down and talk about it and have a civil conversation. That inner turmoil.
So when we did the
kind of
quiz the other day,
by my ability
I'm also securely attached.
Yeah, that's probably the right word.
Came out through the quiz that I am
but
securely attached.
But what about you? What style are you?
So I guess my therapy sessions have paid off as well. I can definitely still relate to one or two of the other attachment styles and aspects of it. I think in general, I feel very secure. I don't have a lot of communication issues, and when I do, I work on them, and I feel like it makes sense that I'm securely attached.
I think also for me, I mean, when I first brought it up to you, I was like, I'm pretty sure you're securely attached. Because also, I mean, I did.
My parents got divorced when I was 5. Not none of them weren't there, but my parents definitely went through a lot in that time, and were not able to be as present as they were later on, for sure, because there was a lot going on. But at the end of the day, I've always, my parents have always been, I mean, that's also my mom and my stepdad, they've always been very, caring and very, they listened, and, and that's why I think, definitely, there are definitely still issues open, and the way I react to certain things, or the way I overthink things, definitely comes from that divorce situation, and bit of a different family dynamics. But at the end of the day, there was everyone was there, Everyone was here. I felt like I always had a home, and through that I feel very secure. And then there's, yeah. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's also, sorry for interrupting, that's also where I've always seen that kind of secure attachment in you. And then I really had that contrast back when I came and visited you in Norway,
right,
where I could see you are very, and I've always known this about you, you're quite, reasonable, secure, you don't have, and your boyfriend at the time,
I don't think he was aware.
I could see the anxious attachment in him and the kind of competition that he suddenly felt. I don't think he was acknowledging that he felt it. No, he wasn't.
Well, just to clarify really quickly, just to clarify what you would let happen is that I would get pulled away because I want to please everyone. That's mostly my issue.
At some point,
that I want to please everyone. So you're talking to me and he comes in and interrupts and I completely ignore you all of a sudden and give him my 100% attention. And that's what was happening. That was the pattern. And obviously at some point you were like, I'm done. Like, this isn't working.
Yeah. Well, I think it was, I think I was just like, hold on a minute. I see his kind of the unsecure attachment. I couldn't say, oh, it's this one, or oh, it's this one. But I could see the kind of the not secure attachment, and I just kind of talked to you about it because I felt like having talked, me and my boyfriend having talked about it, knowing the attachment style had really helped us communicate, and I was like, hopefully knowing both of your attachment styles will also help you. And I think then from that point, becoming more and more aware also kind of helped you guys
I think
communicate in your relationship.
I agree with that. I think the issue is if I'm the only one
I don't know. I felt
reading
like
into this kind of and being interested by this and wanting to know more, it makes it very difficult. Because yes, I can see his attachment style and that might help me navigate some issues. But if he is not willing to look at his own attachment style and figure that out himself, I can't do that for him. And I think that's the biggest issue at the end of the day. And maybe there's many reasons why the relationship ended for me personally.
Of course.
But that was definitely tricky. Navigating something on your own in a partnership isn't gonna work long term. It just doesn't work that way. Anyway, we're trailing off a little bit.
Yeah.
So should we talked about this quiz and this questionnaire that we took, how we've kind of found out our styles.
No, completely.
Should we talk about that a bit more?
Yeah.
And where to find that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we took an online questionnaire, and there's a lot of them out there. It's
theschooloflife.com, isn't it?
The one we did was from School of Life website, and we'll link that below. Well,
the result is still for free. I think you just need to give them your email.
But to get the information, to get the end result,
articles
you have to either subscribe,
pay for,
sign up,
which is a little frustrating. Yeah,
so you need to subscribe. Yeah, so it's behind a paywall. Yeah,
that's for free.
But that's also why there's lots of podcasts and Instagram information. And School of Life is great, but I think if you're just kind of snooping,
it's a pretty good resource. And again, if you want to do the questionnaire, definitely do it from them.
But if you really want to go into it,
because there's obviously a lot of them out there, but I think theirs is the best. By the way, talking about the questionnaire, I brought 2 questions, and then I think you chose one as well. And I was just gonna It's multiple choice, by the way, just for anyone who didn't know that. And
Yeah.
I was going to just ask you those 2 questions, and then
Yeah.
I think you can ask me yours. Okay, so the first question, or I mean,
Yeah.
they're not in order. These are just random questions I pulled from the questionnaire that I liked. So an old friend has borrowed £50 from you and is late paying it back. What do you do? A, grit your teeth but say nothing, reminding yourself not to be so generous in the future. B, call them and explain that the money is important to you and it would be great if they could return it to you in the next few days. Or C, call them and demand the money back as soon as possible. You don't want people taking advantage of you, even old friends. What do you do? Option B, call them and explain that the money is important to you and it would be great if they could return it to you in the next few days. Well, it's a
I'd do
healthy
option
option.
2.
It's good.
But that's me now. Yeah, me now today. Yeah, but I think back in the day when I first took this quiz, I probably had a...
But also
I
what
don't
you
know.
would do.
I think it's really how you answer and feel about it in the moment. And sometimes I also knew what the healthy answer was. And I was like, oh, yeah. So it's really doing the
would I have
quiz
really done?
is being
You have to be
honest
very
with
honest with
yourself and
yourself,
being
that's
like,
true.
okay, what
I think
really-
I also would do
imagine,
B though.
imagine that old friend and be like, okay, what?
If it would like
Yeah.
keep going and like I've already done
Yeah, and that's also
option B
sometimes
and
really
call and
hard.
explained, eventually I turn to C, I think. I get angry.
Yeah. And I think
never mean it
also
like that,
sometimes
though.
when you send me a message about money and you're like, you get very kind of strict and rigid. And you're like, "Ugh," and I'm like, oh,
I didn't at all. That's so
I know
funny.
you don't, and now I know. But the first time I received a message like that, I was like, "There's a nice." I felt
I was
shouted
already
at
angry.
you through the phone,
I was already at C.
through message. But that was also a whole kind of. So I thought
I did not demand the
uh,
money back. I said it's important to me.
Yeah, I thought you were already angry. You're already at sea, but you know, communication. That's where communication
All right.
is key.
Question number 2. By chance, you meet someone
I-
attractive in a... By the way, I love
No,
this
I
question.
felt very
Okay.
demanding.
Okay. By chance,
Anyway, next
you
question,
meet someone
please.
attractive in a bookshop and exchange a few pleasant but not very consequential remarks. They leave by saying, see you around.
It's very you.
What are you most likely to do next? A, nothing. They probably have a partner anyway. B, not very much. They seemed nice enough, but so do many people. And C, try to track them down on social media and return to the shop in the hope of bumping into them again.
I feel like you would do that.
Well, I'm asking you the question. What would you do?
A or B?
A or B? Well, which one? I guess they're very similar.
Yeah, I don't know between the two. It was. I think it was hard for me to choose between those two. Firstly, I have a partner.
Well, yeah.
Back
Would
when
you
I was-
would you assume that this person has a partner?
I mean, I have an experience. I think this is going sidetracking a little bit. We were
You're
back in the
overthinking
Paris.
it.
I know I'm overthinking this, and we've gone through this. We always overthink. Same with the 36 questions.
Yes.
But back in the Paris days when you and me were living together, we were at a club and we were there until it closed. We were dancing all night, and we met this group of boys. And you met someone, and you were off.
Oh, he was so pretty.
I
I remember
the
him.
guy. Anyway, you were off doing your thing.
I was
and
dancing
I
with
was-
him. Okay, you make it
Yeah, but
sound
this was
so
even
like.
afterwards. The club was closed. It was like 5 a.m. The metro was just opening. It was.
Oh,
and I was talking to
I
this-
went and got breakfast with him. He bought me
I don't think
eggs.
No, we're not talking about the same guy.
Oh, we're not talking
that
about the
guy.
same guy.
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, then I don't know what you're talking
This was
about.
O'Sullivan's.
Sullivan's. Oh, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, I remember you were the guy with the white t-shirt. I don't remember his name. He had brown hair. So you were off, and I was chatting with this guy pretty much all night, but not very kind of. I was really nice, and we were just chatting and just, but it little bit flirty, but not really either.
Okay.
And then at the very end, he goes, "Look, it's been really nice to get to know you. I've really enjoyed it. I've really chatted, but I just want to let you know I have a partner, and I didn't want to lead you on, and I didn't want to."
Yeah.
You know, I just wanted to, and that felt so wholesome and nice and kind of, because also in that year in Paris, and I think maybe we'll hopefully do another episode where we'll probably go into that time living together. But it felt so nice to actually have someone say that, because I'd had so many experiences where I'd gone on dates with people, I'd kissed them, I'd, you know, gone further than I'd ever gone with this guy, and after X amount of dates, they were like, "Oh, well, actually, I have a girlfriend," or "Actually, I'm engaged," or "Actually, I'm this." And I'm like,
so bad.
Are you guys fucking kidding me?
Yeah, so bad.
Sorry for that. I didn't mean to swear, but like...
No, it's fair enough. That's when you swear. It's horrible.
I'm like, what the hell? From that experience that I had in Paris, often I'm like, oh, nothing, they probably have a partner anyway, because every person did, and they still hit on me, and they still, you know, we still went on dates. But yeah, at the same time, so one of the two.
Fair enough.
Having that guy being like, well, actually, I have a partner, was so wholesome for me. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you. You were cute. And like, I don't know if I wanted it to go somewhere, but it was so wholesome.
It was just nice to talk to someone who's honest, right?
Yeah. No, and I don't remember his name. I know he wasn't he lived somewhere outside of Paris.
Weren't they
so
British?
Probably. No.
They weren't British?
This was French. I think it was still in the high drinking days.
Well, I was going to say, I was like, I don't have a lot of... I don't remember a lot of this.
We'll cut this out, but
No
we'll talk
idea.
about it afterwards. I'll give you some more keywords. We don't need to like...
We're good. We've grown up. We've grown past it, but we can still... Well, sometimes we can think back and laugh about it.
Yeah.
We don't remember. Anyway, well. Anyway, we're sidetracking.
Yeah.
Okay, so you would do A or B, so not very much or nothing at all. I would definitely do C. I have done C. It's bad. I'm trying so hard not to do C, which is try to track them down on social media and return to the bookshop.
I mean, you returning to the bookshop, I've done that with you, but also I sometimes encourage you. I think now that we're over distance, I'm like, send me their social media. Like, I encourage you to track them down.
Well, I think that the social media track down isn't necessarily horrible. I just want you to see who I kissed, right? So I just send it to you. Or like I showed my mum the other day. that was really funny. Anyway, I think the issue comes when it's like stalking and like you're constantly looking it up, or like you're constantly trying to like get back and like see this person. And I have to really pull myself together, and I can't explain it, but it's like an inner pull, like need to like crave this person's attention. And this is the point where I'm like, what fucking attachment style am I? Because I'm so clear and I'm so communicative and I'm like, I'm so chill a lot of the time, and then something like this happens and I get so obsessive and it's so bad. Anyway, I'm trying to work on it. It's gotten a lot better.
Yeah, I think this is where my knowledge cannot help you anymore, and I please would ask you to talk to a professional about it.
Okay, I shall go back to therapy.
Thank you. It's on air now. We got to hold it to her. And it's January, so it's resolution time.
It's okay. There you go. Starting up therapy again is my resolution. Okay. Anyway, those were my two questions. What did you bring?
I brought one, and it goes like this. As you lie awake in the early hours, you go to check the time on your partner's phone. Inadvertently discover a text from one of their exes saying how much they enjoyed catching up over a drink together the other night. What do you do? A. Wake them up immediately. Demand to know what's going on between them. Going on between the two of them. Answer B. Brush it off. They remain friends. You trust their relationship doesn't go any further than that. Answer C. Arrange a drink with one of your own exes to see how your partner responds.
That last one is so messed up.
But I'm like, part of me identifies with that one. I'm not sure I would do it. But part of me, I'm like,
you want to.
Yeah, I want to, but I'm not
to.
sure I'm not sure I'd have the balls to do it.
No, neither do I. I also don't have an ex that would be willing to go for a drink with me. So that I wouldn't even be able to do that. But I think answering this one was really tricky for me because there's not a lot of back story, right? Like, if I knew my partner was good and close with their ex, I would brush it off because I know they are friends and I trust my relationship. If I never hear about this ex and I don't consider them as one of my partner's friends, I would wake them up immediately. I would go, what the fuck is this? Like, what are you doing? I would shake him up so aggressively, he won't know what hit him. If I had water next to me, I might splash him with water. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna
throw it at him.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, because like, what are you doing? You know, and also why? Like, for me personally, it's like, what reason do you have not to tell me? Yes, exactly. No. Why keep it a secret? Because if you're going out for drinks with friends after work, you would tell me. So why would you not tell me if you're going with having a drink with your ex, who's maybe also your friend now? And again, I don't know in this question scenario, but most likely I would wake them up and demand to know.
He your man.
What about you?
I think it's really hard for me because, again, a lot of the things you said, but I think my first one I would probably not go back to sleep.
Yeah.
I think if I had to choose one, I'd probably, again, wake them up immediately, but also knowing myself, I would probably not go back to sleep, overthink a lot, and be very angry and grumpy with them all morning long until they come and say, what the hell is going on? And then I probably demand what.
Very healthy.
Yeah, exactly. That could, or again, if I knew the background of it, that they remain friends. Well, I suppose also you brush it off. It says here they remain friends, so you know that they are friends.
Yeah, if that's the case, then that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I think for me, it's more about why did you keep it a secret?
Yeah, definitely.
Because again, if you're going out with your friends, you would tell me. So if this is one of your friends, why not tell me? Yeah. I don't know. It's a tricky one.
These are the type of questions that you'll find in the quiz.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how many there were. There were like 15 more.
Can't remember.
Yeah, no, doesn't really matter.
10. Sorry.
It's only 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go into the actual attachment styles a little bit more in depth and how they can help, what we can learn from them, and how can it help, and I already said that, what can we learn from them, and then also I want to talk about it changing over time at some point as well. Okay, well, let's start with how it can help. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, how knowing your partners and your own attachment style can help you?
Yeah. So I think, as I've mentioned before, there are a lot of relationships that are anxiously attached and avoidant attached, which turns into the vicious push and pull between the anxious partner needing reassurance and closeness and the avoidant partner needing space and time to process. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to go into my own relationship and kind of give examples and how I managed to really go in depth and explain, because I think I did that quite loosely before, but here's the deep dive. So me and my boyfriend, pairing made in heaven, anxious and avoidant. But I think for me, having had quite a bit of therapy before getting into the relationship, I knew I wasn't anxious. I knew I was anxiously attached. About a year into the relationship, it became very clear that my boyfriend was avoidantly attached.
Which, by the way, is diagnosed in in quotation marks, but it was diagnosed by you. He never went to therapy, right?
No.
Okay.
I took the quiz with him.
Okay. Okay. He did take the quiz though. Okay.
Yeah. I kind of had a feeling he was avoidant, and I talked a lot to my therapist about it. But in the end, we took the quiz together.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
As I'm very well versed in attachment theory, as you might know, as you might have put together, I think once we both knew our attachment style, it really helped us being able to function and feel secure in the relationship. I figured out that when we have a fight, he needs space to process. He will come back to me once he's had that time, while I need to learn to self-soothe and not be clingy. He has also gotten better at meeting my needs for reassurance and closeness.
I guess that it sounds like there's a lot of trust is needed, specifically from your side, that you trust that he will come back.
Yeah, I had to build that
hard
trust.
part, isn't it? Yeah.
And I had so many times where I was spiraling. I was like, he doesn't love me. He's not, we've just had this massive fight. He doesn't want to talk about it. And he just needed 2 hours in his cave.
And then
I use this metaphorical cave. It's not actually a cave. It's just he needs kind of his own time, and I personally call that the cave. But
because he retreats back into what seems like a cave to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But I think after that, after having both of us being able to understand each other through our attachment styles, that's kind of when I became a strong believer in attachment theory.
Yeah.
And how it can help communication in relationships.
Yeah.
And I think it segues quite well into the next question, which is, how can you communicate with the different attachment styles?
Exactly. So we looked into it a little bit, and I'm just going to start us off with the securely attached, which is the easiest one, I guess. So instead of questioning their independence, you kind of trust their stability and maintain open communication and offer balanced emotional support. It's a non-reactive, very non-dramatic, not overthinking a lot. And that trust, right? That trust that you have in knowing that he's going to come back. And I think that's also why you're now securely attached, because you actually have that trust and you're not freaking out every single time now. So that's really what it is. Yeah. You're not questioning anything to the crazy amounts. I think that's where it's really funny, because I very much relate to that for sure. I'm an overthinker, but I'm also a communicator. And I will also, even if people are like, oh, this is uncomfortable for me to answer, I will go yeah, but we need to talk about this. And there's definitely it felt like some gaslighting in my past relationship, which is interesting because the reason why it's coming up for me now is I don't usually question. I have a lot of trust and I'm able to just say things that I'm feeling. But in that last relationship, I definitely all of a sudden started questioning everything. And I think that don't want gaslighting, whatever. Gaslighting is a very big word, I think. But through his anxiousness, I think there was a lot of questioning from my side all of a sudden, which didn't even feel like me. I think
what I saw happen, what I saw happen in my relationship was we kind of came together and we figured it out together. What I saw in your relationship, you had that security, you had that confidence, you had that secure attachment, and over the time you're in the relationship, and I'm not blaming him and I'm not saying he is the villain.
No me to blame.
But
I could have left ages ago.
Okay, let me get to my point, woman.
Yes.
I think that there was a switch that you started becoming anxiously attached by having his confusion,
Yeah.
his kind of your secure turn, where from mine went from anxious to secure, you went from secure to anxious.
Yeah.
And I felt that, and obviously maybe you had a little bit of that inside you, and it just got amplified in
By
that
the way he was
relationship.
reacting. Yeah. No, absolutely. And like I said earlier, like I might be securely attached in general, but like I'll definitely have my moments. And I think those moments just became amplified so much through him. But that's, I think, also why it felt like gaslighting to me, because I was like, this isn't me. Like I'm a communicator. I'm someone who trusts. Like I feel very secure. And then through him saying certain things or reacting in certain ways, all of a sudden I started questioning my own security, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So it was just wild. So I mean, being securely attached doesn't necessarily mean that like you're out of the woods and you're perfect and like it all works out. Definitely doesn't mean that either. Doesn't mean that you're like the healthiest
and I think
person in the world.
because also it's on a spectrum, right?
Yes, for sure.
There's different parts of it that can then be triggered by someone else's behavior. You know, you might feel really secure, but there is something, because we're not all perfect. We have emotions, we have feelings, and something else can be triggered, and that's completely fair enough and okay.
Yeah. I think
as long as you're aware and
yeah. And I think also like knowing I'm securely attached and trusting in that is really important for me now for the future. And so that when I get into a relationship and I start seeing that behavior changing from my side and seeing that all of a sudden I'm feeling more anxious or avoidant or however I'm reacting to it, that I can actually catch that much earlier.
And also, I think it's completely fair enough and okay that you slip back into anxious or avoidant.
Sure. But 3 years is too long.
Yeah, but we're not here bashing your relationship. I think what I was trying
not?
to say, you might be, but I'm not.
No.
But I think what I'm trying to say is if you are aware of your behavior and you're not blindly following it, I know that I can be clingy and I need reassurance and all of that. I am aware of it, but I cannot expect someone else to fill that void for me. I need to be able to fill that void myself.
Yeah.
And having that knowledge and that awareness in myself and not expecting the other people, I think that's really where... And just, if you slip back into an attachment style that's not secure, it's okay. Just have the awareness and the confidence and the trust in yourself.
Okay, well, let's move on. That was securely attached.
I think we've pretty much gone.
We've kind of like covered it all. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, just a good way to finish it off is kind of key ways to communicate with an anxious attached person and what helped me.
Avoidant attached.
Yeah. So what helped me was, for me, that my avoidant partner, instead of pulling away, he provided consistent reassurance and expressed frequent love.
Yeah.
Or expressed love frequently, probably makes more sense.
Do you have like a very specific thing that you need to hear from him in that moment? Or that he just says that helps you?
Yeah, I think also coming together, apologizing, hugging after a fight, but kind of acknowledging the feeling, acknowledging the hurt, which is really hard for him because he needs like logic and straightforwardness. And how to communicate with an avoidant attached person is important to give them space and offer non-intrusive affection and available when they are ready to kind of come back to you. Then, lastly, the one I have not yet been able to conquer and understand, disorganized or fearful avoidant. I don't know if you want to say some something about how to approach?
I mean, yeah, I've definitely had 2 partners in my life that I would consider avoidantly attached. I don't know if they would consider themselves that, but maybe a combination of both. It doesn't matter. I don't want to diagnose anyone. But I did feel like I did the whole space giving and being, readily available whenever. And what I felt was that it really left me sitting in limbo. And maybe that was just a lack of trust in the relationship or in the partner. But it became very frustrating because I mean, I know I can be impatient, but I can also be patient. And I feel like with partners in general or with men, I am way too patient. And it was, and I think that's also, because we were talking about it earlier, but I think me sitting in that limbo and becoming more and more and more frustrated, and maybe also them not really coming back, like your partner, you trust that your partner comes back. And I guess they never really properly came back to the conversation, or acknowledging the hurt was a really good thing that you said as well. I never felt like I properly got that. And I think that's why I started becoming very anxiously attached, because I needed that. I started becoming this clingy, obsessive person, because I was like, I'm sitting here waiting for ages for you to acknowledge my side or for you to acknowledge anything, and I'm not getting anything back. And I was just like desperately trying to get this from them, and I think that's kind of what turned it anxious for me. I just realized,
I think you need the other person to also acknowledge their attachment style. And it's not every fight that I have with that I'm like, oh, I'm like this, I need this, but I think we've had it so many times that we have talked about it, that now when we have a fight, we can just kind of come together and we know what the other person needs.
Yeah.
And it's kind of had that ebb and flow.
And I think that's the frustrating part for me, because I felt like, because I am securely attached and I can communicate well. And I feel like I had told my previous partners exactly, like I put it out on a platter for them, right? And then for them to still, I don't know what was going on in their head, but for them not to be able to give that was very, very frustrating.
I think they need to be open and willing to work on it as well. And I'm not saying they weren't open, and
they weren't.
Yeah, but I think they weren't willing to see it.
You can't say that they were not. It's not.
They weren't willing to see it.
Yeah, it's difficult, especially if I have all this knowledge, and I mean, I've gone to therapy for years. I'm very, very, very self-aware, too self-aware sometimes for my own good, but it bites me in the butt sometimes. But having a partner who, and it's not even that they have to be on the same level. No one's gonna be at the same level at the same time. That will always change slightly. But having a partner or partners that aren't even close to that, or aren't even willing to look at it with you, is very, very difficult, for sure. And I think that's, at the end of the day, that will definitely be the reason why a lot of these relationships have ended for me. And I would love to have someone in my life that matches that. That'd be great.
Manifestation goes back to one of our episodes, isn't it? The witch. Yeah.
Manifesting a partner that matches my energy. That'd be great. And it maybe isn't anxiously attached. That'd be great too.
Yeah.
Or avoidantly attached. Preferably just securely attached. No disorganized either. No, thank you. Okay, anyway, done manifesting. Let's continue.
Okay. So just to finish up, there's obviously the disorganized, fearful, avoidant attachment style. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the one I know the least amount about, and I don't feel like I have the knowledge to give as well of a kind of explanation for as much as I know about avoidant and anxious attachments. But I think obviously how to approach people with that attachment style is with patience and giving gentle reassurance, encouraging conversation. But if you really do, also earlier in the explanation, if you do identify with disorganized attachment, I really encourage you to, look at the links, look at the podcast, do the research, because I don't know enough to be able to give you that knowledge, and I don't want to give you any wrong knowledge. So I think it's important to I don't want to give you the wrong information either. So please follow the podcasts that might know more than I do.
Also, if you are going to
the
therapy or you're
topic.
seeing a therapist, you can ask them about this. They might know more, or they might be able to lead you in another direction. That's also helpful. And again, it's a spectrum, right? So you might have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And best thing is to just become aware of your own reactions and your own style of dealing with certain situations. And becoming aware of that, you're starting to understand what all this that we're talking about actually means. Yeah, I mean, when we talked about it a bit earlier, and I kind of want to end on a positive note, and I feel like this is a good positive note to end on. And we talked about it a little bit, but it is about the possibility of transforming your attachment style. I mean, you talking about having been usually anxiously attached, or having up until recently being anxiously attached, and now having done the quiz recently and actually being securely attached. How do you feel about that? Because I feel like you've been a little conflicted about it this past episode.
I think I'm no expert, and I think I need to ask my therapist about this. But yeah, I think for me, being either I've cracked the code on the quiz and I just know the answers now. But I think when I kind of resubscribed and got the email, it said securely attached, I was like, what the fuck? Again, sorry for the language. I really try not to swear on here. I think I was just perplexed, and I was just like, how? But I think, probably just feeling secure in myself and I think for me, the only way for me to test it would be not to be in a relationship and be single and kind of see how I feel out there and do the quiz again. And I think right now I am in a secure, happy relationship that I don't feel the need to kind of be anxious. And one day, if I'm ever single again, I need to see how my patterns have changed, because right now it's really hard for me to kind of go through the questions and be like, well, if I meet someone in a bookshop,
I see what
I'm
you
kind
mean.
of in a happy relationship.
Like,
I'm not
you're
sure I would. I'm really happy for them if they have a partner, and also it was a really nice interaction, but I wouldn't take it any further because I don't really feel the need to.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's just also keeping it in mind and seeing where it goes in the future.
Well, I do just want to say that you've definitely evolved. And I think you should give yourself a lot more credit for that. Even if you're like, oh, it's just in this, it might just only be in this relationship with this specific person. I don't think that's true. I think that's just a general thing, because I can see you do that with your family members and also with me. You've definitely I think you've definitely evolved. And then I've also done some research on this a little bit. And I did also find out that it is possible to change your attachment patterns. And of course they can be stable, but they're also not permanent. And it's very much influenced by supportive relationships, like your partner, or even with me, or other relationships you have, therapy, which also you've done a lot of, and self-reflection, which you're also very, very good at. So I think you might have not just evolved, but also you've grown and found yourself people and surround yourself with people that support you, and that will also bring out that securely attached out in you. Like we said earlier, I am securely attached, and I find partners that bring out my anxious attached style. I feel like for you, it's the other way around. You've been anxiously attached and now you found people that bring out your securely attached, which is really, really good. It's good. That's great. Yeah. No, it was really interesting today. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope this gives everyone hope. There is no need to be depressed about your attachment style. There's room for change and evolvement and growth. Evolvement? Is that a word?
It's not a word.
Okay. You know what I mean. Yeah, so I think that's a good positive note. Evolving. There is room to evolve. You can evolve. There you go. Whatever.
I think with this we should end, because otherwise she will conjugate it even more.
I will continue. Yes, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing so honestly with us today, Anais. I really, really, really appreciate that. That was really kind of you and very brave of you as well. Just want to acknowledge that. Very nice.
Thank you.
And
I love you. Also, listeners, we love you. Take care. We'll see you next. I always say see you next week. Tune in next week.
I don't know. Hear you next week. Hear us next week. Anyway, until next
week. Take care. Bye.